Will it be our best day yet? As always, as always. Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Bear Earthlings. Good morning to all the non-Earthlings as well. I mean, I wonder, do we have any aliens among us? The aliens among us? Because that would be kind of cool. If so, please let me know. And please maybe offer me some alien wisdom or something. I feel like I could really use some. Okay. So so here we are. So I'm Amanda, founder of Eat Like a Bear, and we meet here on Wednesdays. And I am 10 months out from a head injury, so that's just kind of sucks because it's far worse than I would have thought. Anyway, that is to say, my vertigo is especially bad today. We plan to get to like 45 after the hour, and we'll see how all that goes. But the big thing we've been discussing lately is maintenance, because I mean, that's like the big issue, right, in weight loss, because many of us have lost weight many times, right, and then we've regained it. And so how do we get to the point of not regaining it? And I do feel like I have a lot of wisdom and success with this, which I bring to my current situation. And because I'm up, okay, I'm up and have a complicated health situation, and it makes me in more need of my own wisdom, okay, from these like 7 years of maintenance, and that's what we're discussing. And so I sent out an email on Sunday about this and talked about so made a little analogy, I guess, about how so I was out on the property here in the mountains, and there is an unbelievable ocean of thistle, which here is an invasive weed. And over 30 years or so, it's encroached, and it has some shocking strongholds on this property. And it's like speeding up, as these things can do. And so I was out there like, what am I going to do about this? Because I missed a whole season with the head injury of some of the work I would have done on it. And it just got, it's getting worse and worse. And I thought, what if I just pull it like weed by weed, just like over acres? How would that be? And I thought, what if I just do that like meditatively? Like I thought, I'll be out there and I'll just pull weeds one at a time, leaning into the analogy that is exactly how we also lose weight, right? It seems like this giant ocean of thistle, all these pounds we have to lose, and just feels so overwhelming. But in fact, if we just did like a little bit at a time, we would solve the problem, which is totally true. And we all need to have that viewpoint for our weight loss. But it occurred to me as I was thinking about the analogy and they're pulling the weeds that, and also, by the way, meditating about all you guys as I'm pulling those weeds, it also occurred to me that the big problem with maintenance and with even teaching maintenance, because we have the 3-day challenge where it's like, hey, go into the grocery store and do this thing. It's the equivalent of like, here, this is how you pull the weed, pull. Okay. People have great success and it leads to like a lot of momentum and all that. But is there a 3-day challenge equivalent to maintenance? I don't think so. And the reason is it's like this. You're out there, you're pulling the weeds, okay? Just one at a time. You're doing well. You got the momentum going, okay? And then like the meteor hits. The meteor hits and you run away or whatever. You like the last thing you're worried about is the thistle on your property at that point. Okay. So some big crisis happens and the last thing you're worried about is your weight. And so what happens then, you let go, you can gain it all back. And so how do we keep that from happening? So you can see this is the problem. It's like you get into that nice little routine or whatever, and then torpedoes and whatever else. So how do we prepare for that? Because now on one hand, so you gain it back, then you lose it again. Depending on how many pounds we're talking about, I mean, that's just how that might go. And I mean, I've gained some in, different points in this 7 years and then lose it, and now I've gained more, and I'll lose it. I haven't regained 140 pounds, thank goodness. And so that's like the goal, right? Is to just not let it get that far. So how do we do that when that meteor strikes? And so first, one major like step back on this is maybe so obvious, but I think we need to think about this and hear this. And that is that if as you're pulling that thistle, okay, as you're doing your thing and losing the weight, if you're making it a new lifestyle, then let's hope that some of that is sticking when the meteor hits. If you're not seeing it as a lifestyle, if you're like, just this is the thing that's going to get me to the size 8 jeans or whatever, and then I'll just go back and do whatever I'm going to do, or like in your mind, it's not really what you're doing, you will just revert back to whatever it was that got you to that high weight. I mean, just so easily. We revert back to things all the time. And so a big thing we need to be doing as we're picking that thistle is making this a lifestyle. And so this is where if like the way of eating isn't, you're like, I hate this or whatever, I'd be looking for something else, because you need to find something that not only is effective, because we know what we do is effective, okay? But if you hate it, it's not your right path. That's okay. Find another path. It's okay. It's okay it's okay. So we can still be friends. Okay. So have you been making this your lifestyle? And to whatever degree you can work on that on your good days when you're feeling well, building the moat around this situation so that you have a stronger lifestyle, so that, like, say, your pantry is on point, your freezer is on point. The rhythms that you've established really work for you, and you have like a good routine. Those would be some of the things you'd want to do in advance. And really, again, think about this as a lifestyle change, because ultimately we all want to get to the point where, wow, we have this new lifestyle and, we're comfortable with it, and it is allowing us to live our best life. And that's it. Okay. That then when the torpedo comes or the meteor comes or whatever, we are far less likely to gain it all back. This is the reason I haven't gained 100 pounds in these 10 months, honestly. So, I mean, I just know there's universes or whatever, like situations where I did, okay, and or certainly could. And so I'm now looking at only like 20, or is it 25? I don't know. My weight is like this right now. So I'm like, could it be 20? It might be 25 pounds. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to panic because I have the tools. Okay. So now, the meteor, torpedoes, or whatever, 2 types to think about and to prepare mentally for. And one is the major emergency, that like some big stress event. So for instance, as I was losing weight and my dad ended up with a septic staph infection, and we thought he was going to die, I could have totally like just ended up comfort eating and stuff. And what I did is I continued eating this way. And in times in these 7 years when major stress events have happened, and I've recognized them, like, whoa, I could gain a lot of weight right now. I could have. And what I did is I got more strict. And with my dad, I didn't get more strict. Because I was in my weight loss phase, I just stayed on what I was eating. I didn't lose any weight. I mean, I think the cortisol, I think my stress levels were pretty high, but I didn't gain, and I stayed on track. So if you can get more strict, like say you're in maintenance and you're eating a little more than you're like you're eating at kind of your maintenance level, you see the situation coming, cut down a little bit, because then if you end up sloppy, you're not over, so something like cut down. And up here, cutting down is going to keep you from going too far off the rails. So that's one thing I would do in a major emergency. That's the big thing I would do. But also, we need to recognize when we have a big change in our own personal health, that we need to be ready to potentially adapt, or to adapt to the circumstance. And so this is just flexibility and things like, so Georgia just had dental work. And so this what she's not even able to speak this morning. And so she's not joining us. So shout out to Georgia. But Georgia knows she can have like pureed soup if she chooses. And so she knows that. Not everybody does. Not everyone's thinking about like, what are they doing when they have a surgery or something, and that's affecting their eating. What could they eat? And so what we, instead of just eating all the ice cream, you can be ready and eat the pureed soup. Like dental problems or other types of situations where that kind of eating is necessary. Um, and a shout out to Geraldine. Geraldine and well, you know what? So I want to say something specific about what Geraldine has done in the past, but let's take a moment for Geraldine right now too. So I've been thinking about Geraldine, and I'm telling you, when I'm picking that thistle, I'm thinking about y'all, including Geraldine. And so, Geraldine is in, a fight right now, like we all may face at some point, And so, let's all take a moment for Geraldine. But Geraldine has shown such resilience and flexibility. She needed to really modify her diet, um, because of kidney problems, and I don't want to. I don't want it's her story and her circumstances, but she has had a complicated health situation that really narrowed the types of food she could eat. And so, you know what she did? She just did it. She narrowed it and handled it. And so and it really hung in there with it. And that's what we need to do. So like Jackie Patty needing to add more protein. So what did she do? She added more protein. Okay. So she took what she knew was working for her and she then modified it for her needs. Plain and simple. Now that seems so obvious, but I feel like we need to like sometimes we think we need like permission or something to do something like that. If you know what's working for you and you know why, you are in a far better situation to modify it for your needs. Plain and simple. And so I've been eating more than one meal a day purposefully in these 10 months. And there too, I'm very grateful for like all these years of engaging with people about what they're eating, and especially like our 2-meal eaters, and understanding what's working in that context. And that has helped me be more adaptive in these months, because I will die on the hill that one meal a day is, like, for me, it's the easiest, most effective approach. So, and let's see. So, we need to be ready. We need to be flexible, adaptive, like resilient. This is where resilience comes in. Resilience comes in all of it. Like that's what our 3-day challenge should be, something about resilience, really. But there's no equivalent for the 3-day challenge. So let me just take a moment, and because and Teresa's commented about Teresa's doing a summer challenge. So this is reminding me. I wanted to say, in the spirit of all this, so I've asked you guys for May. Anyone in the den who's been in the May challenge, that like your directive was to implement a change in May, like to work for some impactful change. And it could be small, it could be big, anything, and really push through it in May and tell us about it. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the Sequoia National Forest office and get something for you. I'm going to send it to you. And so that, anyway, we need to hear about the May thing. But for the summer, what we're going to do, because we have maintenance content in the Deep Den, and that is going to be our focus of discussion all summer long. And so I want you guys to think about, in the spirit of this issue of the lifestyle, and because the long game here is, if we can like chip away at that lifestyle, that's where things just get easier. And so you can implement something impactful for yourself this summer. Okay. We want to hear about it. Implement something, do it for at least 30 days and report back. Okay. And I will send you, and the first 10 people who do this will receive the bear from Carrie. Okay. So remember last week we opened this. And so let me show you guys what this is. and you saw this last week, but also Carrie sent me one, a big one, but that's down at the apartment. But look at this. Okay. Okay. So that's what you're going to do. And it can, some of the smallest things have big impacts. It doesn't have to be a giant, big old horrible change. It can be a little change. And we want to hear about it. And so inspire us with the thing that you did and the impact that it's having in this summer. Okay, but before that, the May thing. So you can do both. Okay, like report on your May thing. And I'm going to the forest office in that first week of June, and I already have a plan for it. And so I want to send you something. So I hope some of you guys did this thing, because I'm gonna send you stuff. And then through the summer, we're working on this and just continuing this discussion. And that said, I'm going to probably not be weekly live videos, because what I'm doing in my, what I've already started doing is I have just cleared everything, every single thing of any of my expectations or anything else. And I am simply working on some of these key things for myself and just like completely clearing the slate. And so probably we'll have a little schedule change with the live videos. We'll see. May think more about that. But the big thing is in the Deep Den, there will be like weekly discussing together those maintenance posts. And that content's already in there, so you could go through it already if you're a member. If you're not a member, you should join us for sure. Okay, so let me look at comments. But you guys, we have Virginia and we have Brenda back here, so that is so cool. And so Jackie says, eating because I had a bad day is a direct path back to 300 pounds. Not going there. Sue just posted. Okay, we are talking. We're getting together next week in a live video and talking about this key thing. Sue posted in the last day or so in the Den. So if you're in there, go look at her post and look at her description of her day, because that is exactly what a kind of bad day looks like. Days are far worse than what Sue posted, but that's like a typical like ho-hum, like mildly depressed kind of a day. And I read it and it so resonated with me because that's how my days have been lately. And it was like a struggle with keeping a routine and that sort of thing. Next week, my brain will be too scrambled to bring this up this week, but we're going to talk about that next week. Remind me, Sue D's post. And because I think if we can, this is going to help our resilience, recognizing days like that, how they feel, and the kinds of things we can do when they come up. Okay. So like for me, because yesterday, definitely I'm like, I'm off track. I wasn't doing my regular things. What's going on? And I can see where that could spiral. Right. So today I very purposefully was like, what could I do this morning? Because my morning routine is not as solid as it needs to be. I had to remind myself, what do I even do in the morning? What? And there might be cognition issues with that too. But I don't want to make that an excuse. And I'm like, well, obviously I need to walk. So I actually walked this morning. And I did that intentfully. And I did it knowing that the last couple days have been so, like wishy-washy, what's the word? That now I need to be sure to try to just lock a few things in and make sure I'm not completely losing everything that I've been working for, Yeah. Yeah, Emily, need to play on repeat an old Gloria Estefan song, maybe. Yeah, I don't know if it. Get on your feet, get up, and make it happen. Yeah, yeah. I've had days, and we'll talk next week. We'll talk about next week about this, for sure. But I've had days where at the end of the day, I'm like, I did nothing. And is this how I want the day to end? And I kind of push myself out to just take a little walk or just like one little thing to kind of try to break it, recognizing this is exactly the problem. that then does most definitely spiral down. Okay. And yeah, Jackie being more self-aware about physical and emotional eating, absolutely. And so she says, if I'm upset, that's not a reason to eat. And it is very difficult also not to eat in those situations, 100%. But being more aware is the first step. And oh, Emily is saying, I finally have no sugar in my house, so I can't bake. That helps. Absolutely. This is 100% my strategy. Now, my mom has some things around here. I could bake if I really worked at it, but I just like don't start with some of that, and like that's hers, and don't start. Yep. The fact is, I'm creative enough with cooking. I could really put something together, but I work at not starting that because I know that's then my slippery slope. And Kelly is ready to pull 1 week at a time. That is awesome. And yeah, Kelly's husband was in the hospital and she derailed. And so couldn't get control after. That is the big problem, is that it's that spiral down and it is hard to then get in front of like that negative momentum, whatever the word would be, Um, that's why I get more strict. And I know it seems hard. I think it's easier because also as you're derailed, you have all of that regret, all the shame that kind of swirls around in that. And it's just easier to just get strict. No, I'm going to be strict now. And I find it easier. And then I don't have to lose the weight, which is also really the easier part. Okay. Oh, Teresa, there appear to be exactly 100 days between the start of Memorial Day weekend and Labor Day. Mm, okay. Well, that's this weekend then, right? Day 1 is what, Saturday? Well, heck. Okay. Okay. And you can get well on your way in 30 days and earn, I shouldn't have put it back in the baggie, and earn Carrie's Bear Art. Okay. So that'll give you your push to then push you through the 100 days. And I do encourage everyone to look at like a big impactful change they can make. And so your thing can be weight loss, or like your goal can be weight loss, and that's fine. But then that's great. But don't feel like it has to be because we're like a weight loss group that it has to be that. Because maybe it's something that will impact your weight loss if that's what you're working on, or like impact your maintenance. Do that thing. It's like me right now. I think you guys know if you've been on here every week, is I'm really working on my sleeping. And because I know my sleeping is going to affect so many things, including my adrenal hormones that are currently making the weight complicated. And so focusing on like that root problem for me is the key, to these things. And so rather than just like how many pounds, I'm like how many hours of REM sleep did I get? Stuff like that, and working on that. And gosh, it's complicated. So let's see. Jackie says it can happen. I spent decades going from 3x to 2x over and over again. I've had 6 years way below my high weight. You can fail lots of times, but you only have to succeed once. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I mean, I failed a lot of times. And it was the knowledge from those failures that helped me this time. So, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let's see. And I'm sorry, I'm just these comments were like 9 hours ago. Okay. I actually said that in a post elsewhere today. I was down over 130 pounds. My regain was around 40. I didn't go up to quote gain more than I lost, which some will always say happened. Right. Like, right. The wisdom is like you lose the 100 you regain it all plus 20. So now you're up 120 or whatever. And so Jackie's point is she only gained 40. Yet now that's wildly successful in this context. And so like pat me on the back. I've only gained maybe 25. God, I hope it's only 20. So yeah. Yeah, Kathy's saying, oh, never let the train run away. I am a pro thistle puller. I'm gonna, you know what? I know it's in here. Is it still? I have a flower drying, like just a little. I'm gonna dry some thistle and maybe I'll send that to you guys. Dried thistle because it's blooming like a nice little like botanical specimen of the like young thistle plant before it's all big, because they get really big. These are the little ones. There's big ones too, but I'll dry the little ones. Make cards. I'm gonna make it with thistle. Oh my gosh. Okay. I can't even tell you guys. Like, thank you all for giving me purpose. Because one of the big things I'm doing back here this summer, so in terms of like my focus is, I'm totally going back to my roots here with, my whole story about my big goal and in losing the weight. I wanted to hike with my son. I desperately want to hike again. I'm getting there. And so I was driving him from trailhead to trailhead because I was 280 pounds and I just kind of limp around because I had a knee injury as well. And so I was making like little crafty things with stuff from the trails, like, pine needle vinegar or like the lip balms that I've sent out to some of you guys. And like I infused the lip balm oil with herbs that I'd find on the trail. And so going back to my roots, I am currently working on projects like that, but including I'm about to maybe today, I have a small 1-gallon copper still, like a moonshine still, but I'm using it for herbs. And I'm going to make little projects, including, and I'm looking at making soap with some of these things. So my point is, thank you for now giving me reason to harvest this. That's so on point for me. Okay. And Rosemary has already, you know what, that is awesome, Rosemary. And really we've all started, you know what I mean? Like we're all like, even if we're just thinking. And so that's part of the process. Yep. Let's see. And Rosemary's joined Teresa. Awesome. Okay. I realized last week it was 70 days until my 70th birthday. Got strict on that day. And now I'm down 5 pounds. We'll continue on that path. Need to lose 25. That is amazing. That is amazing. Well, 70 days until 70. That is fabulous. I'm excited to hear your report, Mickey. So now 70 days then. And so your birthday is apparently late July, early August. Cool. Okay. If I'm doing the math right, my mental math game is not what it used to be. I would send a SACE for a thistle. So what's a SACE? Tell us, Emily. Okay. And Teresa says, my issue with emotional eating is that a food item gives immediate benefit. So I look for something else that can make me feel better immediately. Right now it's organizing, cleaning, something small. That's awesome, Teresa. That's really good. So like you're looking for that, some kind of like the little punch that we get, the little, what is it called? Gosh. Yeah. And this is something. So Teresa's idea that gives her that little dopamine hit. Okay. I think that's what I was looking for. We need to find that for ourselves. Find something like that. And the thing that's going to distract us. Like I'm hungry, so I'm going to go way down on the hillside and pick thistle. That kind of thing. Okay, July 24th. July 24th. That was my Aunt Kathy's birthday. Um, Emily, a self-addressed stamped envelope. You don't have to send one because I am going to send you some, Emily. I'm excited about this. Boy, I'm, okay. Has anyone here done like making cards with something like putting the dried flower on? Like, what would be the right glue or whatever? Tell me. I'll look it up. I'll figure it out. But I know but y'all are far better crafters than I am. So, yeah. Okay. Rosemary, I have been struggling with my blood pressure and finally got strict. Blood pressure this morning was 118/79. That is so fabulous, Rosemary. Okay, I'm really excited about this. But you know what, guys? I'm yapping like forever, and I have Virginia and Brenda back here. And I'm sorry that I didn't bring them up sooner. Let's see. Oh, and Emily, I misread Emily's comment because Emily said the decluttering and cleaning instead of eating is fantastic. She says, I need a poster. And I read it as I need a pastor. I was like, oh, maybe we all do. Okay, I'm bringing up Virginia and I'm bringing up Brenda.
Hi.
So, who's your pastor? Oh, gosh, goodness.
Is that for an exorcist style need of a pastor, or bless you for you have sinned, or what?
So I think it's the Catholic priests who are more traditionally known as like doing the exorcists, I think. But I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah.
let's totally get like off track discussing exorcism.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I have days where maybe I feel like I should have one. Well, okay. And Cindy is loving the Memorial Day to Labor idea too, jumping on. I know, like the 100 days, the power of that. That's amazing. We can do so much in these 100 days. Are we doing that, guys? Are we doing the 100 days?
I mean, I like the idea myself, but I will say this, and it comes back to what you were talking about earlier. It's really just like today, right? Just this one day kind of thing. Like you can have plans to do, a 3-day challenge or 6 days of soup or a month of this or that or the other. But I think this, and I'm no pro because I'm not there. I'm not at maintenance or any of that. But I think that the secret to maintenance is just every day you get up and you go again. I mean, that sounds really simplistic, but that's the truth. And if you just aim for, like, I went out and walked, it's going to be hot. It's already, when it hits 70, it's almost like too hot here. And so I walked already, but I will have to start now getting up like at 6 a.m. and going for that walk because if I'm going to get it in, I got to get it in early. I mean, for me, but also I have one that goes in a stroller, but one walks, a dog that walks and one that goes in the stroller. And the one that walks, if it's too hot, she can't walk on that, street.
Sure. Yeah.
So if I'm going to walk the dogs, I have to get up early and go do it. Now I do have a gym with a treadmill and I could go anytime I want to walk, but I like to take them out, so they get some scenery or whatever. I don't know, they're dogs, but whatever.
Well, so Virginia, the point of we just have to keep doing this thing every day, true is totally true. But as I was picking the thistle and thought, really, what if a meteor struck, or what if there was like meteor showers and multiple meteors striking like the hillside as I'm out there picking the thistle, I'm probably running away, or something like take cover and I'm not picking thistle anymore. And so having that analogy in my mind just made me realize like how complicated it actually is to keep doing that thing when you're just pummeled. And so we have to be ready that, we could get pummeled and how are we going to keep going? And so that ends up being, that's what we're really talking about. Yeah.
Right. And I have been pummeled in these last couple of years. And even when, all else failed, I kept in touch with people. I was in the hubs constantly crying, probably, but in there, and they were supporting me through what I was going through. But also, food wise, everybody was just like, do the best you can, make the next best choice. And for me, quite often the next best choice might simply be not that I'm eating a ridiculously big salad or a skillet, but anything I eat, like name it, but just do it in that 1 hour. Like that might be my next best choice in that situation. Instead, I could have, there's a cafe and a store with all kinds of food in it at the hospital. And, I could have, and I did quite often, easily just grab whatever suited my fancy at the moment and just ate nonstop kind of throughout the day. And of course, I mean, like that's really like stress eating, which I think we can all relate to. But sometimes I would say to myself, well, if I can just do this, just only eat once during the day, even if it's, I don't know, chicken tenders and fries or whatever the thing was. If I could just do that and just eat that one time, that's a better choice than, eating all day long for me. And then if I can or I could have, then I would lean more into like getting something that was like, oh, I'm going to get a salad and chicken tenders, or you know what I'm saying? Like kind of try to do the best that I could in the situation I was in. And then when I was able to get back to my home base again, then I could have all the things, in the freezer and the cupboards and all that stuff ready to go. It's a constant battle, to be honest. And I really think that that is what maintenance is, to be honest. It is like nobody gets to a weight and just stays there magically. That doesn't happen. So maintenance is this little game of gaining and losing over and over. It's just how much do you actually gain before you go in and lose it again. And so I
Yeah.
think that's the thing. So
Yeah. And I think that being honest, we need to be watchful of ourselves and what's happening, and honest about what's happening. And that's how we're going to course correct, essentially. And I think it's the only way we're going to course correct. I mean, it's easy to just block it off and then we're going to just eat. It's always easy to eat. Yeah.
mhm.
And yeah.
I find I need a combination of both, though. I need the day to day, but I also need a goal. I need a something I'm working towards, not long term. Like I'm going to be 150. I'm never going to be 150 pounds because that is not my goal. But I mean, during the day, I have to have just the little things. Like, my dog is a lifesaver because most of the time I'd like to bury myself at home. And of course, the sun's up and she wants outside, so I don't get that choice. But Sharon went out and got me a vibration plate. And I've been slowly doing that every day since I got it yesterday. I can say every day because I did it 2 days in a row. That's a 2-day goal right there. But, I had to start out slow. I still have to do things slowly. But my goal is to get to what, I would like to do if I was a healthy human being. And then the other thing that I have to look at is, like we had the ramp up to going to Arkansas. And it was like exciting every day making plans for that. It was on my mind so much that eating wasn't even that much on my mind because my mind was like, I'm going to Arkansas. I'm going to hug Georgia, kind of thing. And so my squirrels need nuts. Okay. So I got to have a nut that I'm looking for to get there. Because my squirrels run rampant and I probably need an exorcist when they go wild and I don't have a goal. So, there's squirrels that live in my brain and they got to be searching for the nut. So I got to have my nut goal. So I like the 100-day idea. That's a good nut goal. But the other thing I've learned is that do things in a reasonable manner. Because me, I like to go gung-ho. I do. I love to go gung-ho. Only problem is then I go gung-ho. I'm lifting weights for 45 minutes and then I can't move for 5 days. Okay. So I'm learning that I'm going to be 61 years old in June. I cannot just go whole hog and expect to survive the next week. So I'm learning to set reasonable goals, which is really hard for me because I like being unreasonable. It's kind of like my persona. But you know, 5 minutes twice a day on the vibration machine is it for right now. I mean, yes, I know it says 15 minutes 3 times a day, but that's going to be probably in October. So if I'm being realistic. And then, I'm lifting weights with my grandson, but he can bench press a lot of weight. I'm like doing like empty stuff. you know, I'm learning that, we want to get to the end goal, but we got to do it reasonably. And I find that the 1 meal a day is the most reasonable for me because I can think about it, eat it, and then go away and not think about it anymore.
I think that is exactly the secret, for me too. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm trying to fill my life with things that I can fill the rest of the hours with. And that's kind of more important than even what I'm eating for that 1 hour, because the 1 hour is like, get it over with. And then I try to keep it simple, like a salad with some vinegar and a little spritz of avocado oil or something. But I'm finding that lettuce and I are not friends right now. My bowels go, no. So I'm learning other things to do. I'm trying to keep the greens huge and everything else small. And so, yeah, I'm having a cabbage moment right now, which is kind of funny because you think cabbage would be the same as lettuce, but it's actually not. Cabbage seems to digest better.
Well, interesting. Okay, well, that's cool. You figured that out because that's not obvious to me at all. And I find cabbage more filling too for me than lettuce, and so that could end up being a good thing. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also does really good with a vinegar base. So I need my vinegar every day. I find that also satiates me. So I don't know why, but it works.
Absolutely. Me too. Yeah. In fact, I should have it more deliberately and consistently these days. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just got some really nice organic vinegar with the jalapeno infusion. I just take a shot glass of that, knock it back, and I can breathe.
Dilute it. Anyone doing a vinegar should dilute it. You don't dilute your
No, I'm doing straight.
Everyone needs to dilute it. Does it like, okay. Oh my gosh.
I can miss the teeth, just.
Okay. Yeah. But I
miss
think
the teeth.
You still want to rinse because like the residue on your teeth can ruin your enamel, but I'm concerned about her esophagus right there. I mean, that's crazy. Because I have swigged vinegar just undiluted, and I did that once, and dilute it. I dilute it by like 4, with water or something, and then swig.
I just shoot it back.
And then still rinse. You still want to rinse. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, I usually brush my teeth after I do it because it's bedtime when I take a shot. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and Jackie says I dilute my vinegar with cabbage. Yes. Yes. That is often how I dilute my vinegar as well. For sure. Yeah. 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 Because really, just to be clear, it doesn't actually matter how it gets in there. It will help. It will help you feel more full with your meal. And so if you have a meal where you don't want a vinegar flavor in it, you can swig before and I guess during, but I would typically just do it before, and then it helps you fill up faster. But yeah, I would dilute it. Yep.
I'm using apple cider vinegar capsules now. I use the capsules.
Yeah. I mean, and so I wonder though, how do you even know how many to take, or are you just going by what you're feeling?
What it says on the bottle, I don't even know. I just take one after a meal, with the meal, I guess.
Do you feel like it, or are you feeling can you feel the change or the effect?
I don't know. I'll have to pay more attention to it. I'm also not as consistent as I need to be with it, even though it's sitting right there while we eat, but I just need to be more consistent. But it's something that I did just to be able to get some of that into Gary, because there's no way he would take vinegar even if it was diluted.
So I would take it before, like as you're prepping the meal, just pop
Yeah.
one in and let it start digesting. Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, well, it is now 46 minutes after the hour, and I am going to go pick thistle, pull,
Yay.
and now I have the craft idea. So that's
I
cool.
posted that I watched a woman do this with a rose, but you might Google. But she took a rose and pressed it in between this thing. It must have been plastic. Pressed it and then microwaved it, and it came out just beautiful. So it might
Hmm.
maybe look
My
that up.
yeah, my grandmother used to press it between wax paper and the Bible. So you would
Mhm.
open it up and you would have the dried flowers because it was like, like when Aunt Mary died, she took one of the flowers from the arrangement and pressed it. And then, it had all her, because we had one
Right.
of those great big giant Bibles with everybody's birth, death, and everything in it. And she would press flowers in between and then she would take her big cast iron cook pot and sit it on top so the weight would press it extra hard, I guess. And that's how she did it.
Oh, so we have a gas oven, and so I could put something under the pilot. Because yeah, the thing is getting it dry enough to then put on a card or something and to mail to Emily. So and all
Do you have a
y'all.
dehydrator?
Yeah.
We do have one around here somewhere. That's an obvious point, isn't it? Yeah, how about a dehydrator?
I use my dehydrator all the time. I like my dehydrator.
How
It's
about that?
become very useful.
Obvious.
Cool.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, very good. Yeah, but I need the right glue. We'll have to figure out what's the glue for the this thistle cards. Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay. We used to press plants when my kids were little, so I still have the book. We had a special book that someone gave us. Yeah, for just,
Mhm.
science. Homeschool mom pressing
Yeah.
flowers book. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, you
All
guys,
right, you go take a
well,
nap, pull some thistles, have a good day.
yeah, you guys, everyone have a great day. Good to see everyone here. And silica gel is what Emily is saying.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get this, Emily. We'll get it. And I have no lack of thistle to press for y'all, so we're good.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. For years, in fact. Okay. Well, as successful as I'll be pulling it, it will keep coming back. So giving me more, opportunity. So there you go. Look at this. Look at how I've turned thistle into something positive,
Yay.
There you go.
which shows my resilience. So we need to all be more resilient. And that is a good example of how,
Mhm.
because boy, you guys know how thistle is. Do you guys know thistle? Like the big ones
Yes.
that like to eat you up. Yeah. These are their babies that will be
Yeah.
pressing. Okay. Well,
we have goat heads.
oh, we did. Oh, yeah. We have
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
stand of goat heads down here.
Awful. Those things are terrible.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
all over the central California. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Oh, chill skills, top of the hour.
Mhm.
I guess so because Anna is here in the comment section here. So I'm assuming Anna will be leading chill skills here in 10 minutes. So everyone take a bio break and find the link to chill skills. It's the Project Hub link that is the top of the water cooler, the pinned post there. We'll have the link. And that is where you can always find it. Okay. Very good, you guys. Everyone take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Okay.